What's going on, guys? And thank you so very much for coming back to Fasterproms YouTube channel. I'm coming at you from my garage in my big, comfy, ugly green recliner. Very much like Frasier's dad used to have. I don't know if you guys used to watch Frasier when you were younger, but yeah, I did. We've been out of YouTube for quite some time here, and I just kind of wanted to explain what was going on here. First off, the shop is absolutely, it is ripping. We are knocking stuff out left and right, but this is what it boils down to. If you guys worked 2 jobs and one of them wasn't paying well whatsoever and you're investing loads of time into it, and the other one is people are knocking down your door to get your work, what would you do? That's why we haven't been doing YouTube. That in a nutshell. There's a number of other different things. I think a lot of us can agree that we don't really like where YouTube's gone. YouTube has been a mouthpiece for communism. They've done a whole lot of really ugly political things, and you know, part of me doesn't want to get political, but part of me really does at the same time, because they have an agenda, and when their agenda is affecting me as you know, I think you guys know where I come from. I'm a pretty conservative guy, but I'm, you know, pretty old school, definitely red-blooded American guy, and I don't like what YouTube has done. Really kind of makes me upset. Nonetheless, I was really bitter about that for a little while here. I've kind of been going through a little bit of a journey here. I'm so much more comfortable in my own skin. If I happen to lose YouTube for something that I say, then so be it. I can work things out. You know, God has my back. I'm going to be able to make it no matter what. No matter what variant is out there, no matter what is going on, going to be okay. But I've kind of changed direction with a number of different things. Certain projects, I mean, are indefinitely on hold. I got some other things, new developments on other projects. Certain things we're also liquidating. I'm not a big fan of the way the economy looks right now, so I am most certainly liquidating a lot of different things that I just either can't use or don't use or are going to fund future projects. So a little more on that a little bit later, but I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys for tuning back in. I know I've been inconsistent, and I got nothing to do but thank you guys for that support. So here we go. One of the other things that we've been working on here is, I said it a little while back, and it's a kind of bittersweet moment here. Well, this is a car that we started our channel with, and we're actually it's at the end of its line right now, and I haven't even really had a good look at it since Juan's been working on it since I've been up in Pennsylvania. But she is, wow, dude, it is absolutely beautiful. This is honestly the best the Miata has ever looked. And it's not just inside. Now, you told me you did a bunch of stuff, or it's not just outside. You told me you did a bunch of stuff inside, so let's check that out too.
We did a lot of...
I mean, the roof being painted, new glass. I love the touches of the Hoosier paint right there on there. It looks so sick, man. Dude, seriously, the paint has never, ever looked that good.
Redid the tail lights and he redid the headlights.
Hell yeah, dude! I like the carbon fiber and everything too, man.
Updated the airbox.
This car is not 100%, but we're prepping it to sell, and it was just one of those things that I don't drive the car very much, and I just want to see it go to a good home. Somebody's going to absolutely rip this thing, and right now it still has the nitrous on it. If we sell it with the nitrous, I'm still kind of up in the air on it, but somebody will get a gem.
Yeah, yes, it's a beautiful car for sure.
Dude, it is so much better.
It had a bunch of goodies on it when I was working on it. I was like, ooh, wow, it's got a lot of good parts in it.
Yeah.
I've only seen you drive it once since I've known you for like 6 years. Yeah.
Let's take a look at this. Dude, it is so clean. You got new carpet. Seats have been all cleaned up. Oh, we still got to put that guy back together, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Wade.
You're like
Gotcha.
98% there.
Yeah. Now she's looking so good though. Steering wheel's all cleaned up.
It actually has a trunk with interior in it.
Yeah, there's so many. So Juan's been like collecting Miata parts for a while, and then got everything in and all these little trim pieces and stuff, and it's like really just
in Orlando.
Yeah, it's very much back to like stock though. So nice, because we kind of had it a little bit stripped down.
Yeah,
it was a little bit more.
It was like 50% race car, and it was just
Yeah.
We just needed to take the race car out of it a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
So what do you think?
Dude, it's so nice. It's never been this nice. And I think this kind of reminds me of like when I sold my C5, it was at the absolute peak of its, you know, it's just like so good. And unfortunately, when you sell something, it's kind of that way. It's like if you sell your house, it's at the absolutely, you know, top level. It's
like,
just so
man,
clean, it's so perfect, everything's, you know.
Why didn't I do this earlier?
Yeah, kind of. But dude, it looks so good. I love that carbon fiber top right there. It's such a nice piece. But however, today we got something else that I wanted to share with you guys and kind of get back to the nitty gritty on what makes our channel and getting into some really nice technical stuff. But this car is a pretty sick gem that you got to check out. So guys, Nick,
what's up?
Good to meet you, sir.
You as well.
So you came from a couple hours away and we wanted to check out your Nova.
The 74 with LS1 with an LSA.
So 5.7?
Yep.
And you got 317 heads on, so those are a really good boost head, a little bit lower compression.
Yep.
Yeah.
I stole them from a truck. Stock bottom end, blower cam from Cam Motion, valve train upgrades. Really it. Trying to keep it simple.
All right, so I see you got Olsen Custom Works. I think that's a 2.45 pulley right there.
Correct.
And you got your adapter. So again, that's a rectangular port LSA blower going to a cathedral port right there. And well, I see we got no mass airflow, so we're in speed density. We got a 3-bar map sensor on this thing. It's gonna be pretty fun to tune. We're not gonna be pegging out of mass air or anything like that. It's gonna be on boost only. Pretty much, we tune this thing in speed density. It's gonna be good for all sorts of different types of weather. You got the Phytech throttle body. So again, this thing was totally designed for electronic throttle body, but doing the mechanical adapter. This is really, really a popular thing in the fact that throw LSA on everything and it's instant sickness.
Yeah, pretty inexpensive too. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at with it. So.
And I think you were mentioning this was a ZL1 cooler and stuff?
Correct, yep.
Now, one other thing here. So he's got a big Achilles heel here. You got a 4L60 behind it.
Yeah. I have a T56 at home. I know it's not going to last, the 4L60. The rear end's built, Mosier axles and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the auto's going to go pretty quick. And I kind of hope it does, because I need an excuse to put the manual in it.
Well, hell yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
You had the opportunity to drive a manual LSA?
No, and that's another thing. It'll only
it's so much fun.
Yeah, and in this chassis, that's a fairly well light chassis. It's going to be an absolute ripper.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's more than 3,000 pounds.
The Olsen Custom Works adapter is really kind of what makes this all work, and there's just so many different routes to go. You can kind of go that way, you can go the OEM pulley way, but they make a great product right there.
That might be the only one that offsets it far enough back to run a C5.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I was running out of room anyhow, so I think I got as much as I could. 99 Camaro radiator, Camaro fans, standalone harness, so with the relays and everything, so it's pretty sweet.
Cool, man. Well, let's get this thing on the dyno. We got to do a little bit of touching up of a couple things. So we had a PCV system was incorrect, and we're going to have to address that. So we're going to cap that, and we're going to still route the PCV system, but just in a different fashion so that there's no vacuum leak and less oil consumption. And the more oil consumption that it has, the more it's going to want to spark knock, so we want to stay away from that. But in the meantime, let's get this thing on the dyno. We can start working on base tune on this. All right, so we're using HB tuners right here. I'm going to go through the tuning software. This is what I do day in and day out. I mean, it is incredibly user-friendly software. It's just you have to know what to touch and what not to. I'm still learning that. All right, so we're kicking this way back here. I'm actually referencing Leroy right here because I know it was a good working file, has the same injectors as what he had. I've done a number of things already, but I'm gonna kind of cover some of the main important areas that I think are worth noting. So this is a learned idle. This has a big throttle body, which is great, but at the same time, we gotta be able to control the airflow and do what we need to do. So this is actually gonna slow down. This is a airflow decay, so we want the idle to descend down a little bit slower. That is an important thing right there. We're going to make that guy calm down a little bit in this lower engine speeds. So the lower the value right there, that's going to make that calm down a little faster right there. This is a crazy looking fuel map right here. So let's look at this in graph form, and you can understand that that is not a normal looking graph right there. Leroy actually looked like that. Much smoother transitions in certain places. Now he does have methanol on this, so it is going to create a different graph at the higher end. when we go into boost, because his methanol comes on at, I think, about maybe 2 or 3 pounds of boost. So that's going to change the way that that looks. But this is 100 kPa. That's the moment that we break into boost. That's pretty decent, right at 100 kPa. We're going to have it shut off at 98. But we got to look at, yeah, that's also good. That's a very low threshold right there. So right at 5% TPS and 100 kPa, that thing will go into enrichment, which is great. We've got a pretty flat timing curve here, only 15 degrees, and with a 317 head like we had mentioned earlier, that's got pretty low compression. So even though we're on 93 in methanol, that's almost as good as, you know, E85. So I think that on the Leroy's curve, we were able to take 19.5 degrees of timing with E85, but that was also a higher compression ratio. So I think we're going to end up somewhere about the same, but I'm going to at least put in 18 degrees in here, and we'll start from there. That should be super easy. This thing should make probably about 11 pounds of boost, and we'll start to change up the rest of the fuel map, clean it up in some other areas. The same way that we're modifying our fuel map, and we want to have smooth transitions in some places, we want to have smooth transitions on our timing map as well. Pretty smooth, especially when we use our smoothing buttons right there. Again, very nice feature that HP Tuners has. So our map looks nice, transitions everywhere, no ruts or spikes or anything like that in the map. Another thing that I mentioned pretty frequently is this table called burst knock. This right here has to do with, on a quick change of throttle, it will retard as much as 8 degrees of timing right there. So when you throttle and it sees a large influx of air, it's going to pull 8 degrees of timing. We're going to zero that out, and we want the timing curve to be what it is. We want it to be, it is what it is. It is what it is. That is a modifier, and we just don't want that thing to be jacking with our timing map. All right, so let's go through a couple of little areas here. Does not have traction control. That's all off. That's good. So let's see what we got here. But yeah, we need to change. We're going to completely change our fuel map. So I'm going to copy over Leroy's map and see where this puts us. And then I'm probably going to add a little bit more fuel at wide open. All right, so we've copied over Leroy's map, and it's got a lot more fuel in some areas right there. And our map now looks more like what we'd expect to see. And like I said, this does have methanol on it, so we are actually going to be getting extra enrichment here. And then I may just take this modifier right here, and I like using this guy a lot. So this is going to add 1% once we're right in between 0 and 1 pound of boost, and then we're going to slope that guy up here. So I'm going to do 23% there, and the reason I picked that number is we should have a nice slope. It actually adds 1%, just shy of 1 pound of boost. Let's get to tuning this thing. All right, so tell me real quick here, you were just saying it's kind of Frankensteining a little bit.
A little bit. So the front end is actually a 72. The body's a 74. And to top it off, it's actually a hatchback.
Which, honestly, I didn't even notice that.
Yep.
It's like you're so used to seeing it, and I mean, now how rare is that, in fact?
I mean, it's certainly not common. If I ever get rear-ended, I'm in trouble, because you can't find that rear hatch. It just, you know, they're few and far between. So gives it a little nostalgia. You know, you don't see them often like that.
Spun pretty good on the dyno there. All right, we got to get a better air fuel reading right there, but it was pretty rowdy here. under 500 wheel right now. So we're gonna check everything out. Get back to you in a second here. All right, well, small little problem on that. There was a couple things wrong that I got sidetracked and honestly made a mistake here. So here we go. The methanol kit was actually not on. This is unusual in the fact that it's not on a keyed ignition. So I gotta turn it on. We're gonna test it, and that's gonna purge all the 50-50 blend all the way through there. I'm a big alkycontrol.com fan personally, but this is a very decent controller, but it limits you to 50-50. So I'll fire this guy up. And we're going to, there we go, she's on. We're gonna give it some RPM. Watch this thing. All right, definitely had a little bit more fuel there. Let's check out our results here. So we're starting in second gear because we just were wanting to be sure that the drive shaft was good. I mean, I was just telling Nick that even if this is like a $200,000 car, some things that I've often seen is something overlooked like the drive shaft, and we've got PFI's car right next to us here. So if that, you know, comes apart, that'll hurt that car. Obviously it'll hurt me, it'll hurt the car. It's just one of those things we want to really just kind of baby step right into. So we still need a little bit more fuel. Right there we got 476 horsepower, 456 pound-feet of torque in second gear. We'll also check our tire pressures, make sure that those are good in an acceptable range. But we're gonna start to rip on this thing a little bit harder, throw some more timing at it, get the fuel right. We'll get there very shortly. Methanol, a little more fuel. Beautiful air fuel. We'll probably try a third gear pull here in a moment, but I'm going to go look at the data here. More time he had to try it again. Alright, so this thing really is getting the job done pretty good. I've got slight little drivability adjustment. You guys might have heard when I got on the throttle there, it kind of went brrr. So I just need to add a little bit of fuel there, but part throttle, or sorry, wide open throttle is ripping. We're making right about 11, almost 12 pounds of boost. 55% duty cycle on 850cc injectors. Tons of room for E85. Hopefully in the future this thing will probably have some E85. Just where he's located doesn't really have very much, but let's go take this thing out on the street and absolutely shred some tires here. Alright, so we got no seat belts and barely any brakes. It's par for the course here.
Yes.
However, you've been waiting on this for like 2 years, so 2-year build, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty close to that.
This really sounds like a dumb idea.
Yeah. I got a lot of little things to do. Now that it drives, you know.
Well, you know, I think it would be really satisfying if you did a burnout just leaving the place.
Oh yeah.
That's like 40–50% throttle, to be honest.
Oh man.
So easy.
Yeah.
So easy. Yeah, dude, just wait until you get some tires and get it aligned, man. It's gonna be crazy.
That's nuts right there.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, thanks for having me do it, man. It was very cool.
Buddy, yeah.
Let's get you up on a trailer here. All right, fellas, for our other Black Friday deal here, we've got 2 LT4 supercharger kits for a late model truck. So these are 2014 all the way up to 2019. We'll send one out and we're gonna install one locally. That'll be tuned by me, installed by Elias and Juan. And we got a plethora of goodies. We got an LT4 pump. We got some $100 spark plugs that we really recommend for this. We're throwing those in. You're actually getting a ported blower, and we got multiple different throttle bodies. Yeah, a little bit bigger throttle body, make a little bit more power. And we've got these ICT adapters right here to move that blower up. But show us some of the other stuff that we got going on here.
We got the ICT idler drive bracket kit that lets you get the belt up to the blower.
Some nice stuff.
ADM puts together all these hoses that you need. I mean, you don't have to make the little coupler hose to go from port to port.
Classy.
Dual pass. Tanks, there's a bracket for this tank over there. All kinds of stuff, even on the cold air.
I think on my wife's car, we picked up like over 200 wheel.
It wasn't
And
enough to pull the wheels.
and brake drive shaft. You guys can throw this thing on there and pick up, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood of at least 150 wheel on the lower end of the spectrum with boost, and it can go up from there. These kits right here, we can a la carte a few other items if you guys can decide you want to make a little bit more power, but all said and done, we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of about $1,700 off the normal pricing, depending on what you get. But these kits won't last long, and you will be incredibly happy with the overall output. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed some of the nerd talk. You might have missed that. Please catch up on some other videos. I'm going to try and produce some more. I can't guarantee that because we've got a ton of work, but I'm going to leave you with a quote. Something that meant a lot to me recently is that if someone has rejected you or something has rejected you, it is an indication that God has something better for you. We're going to do some meme warfare here. Hope you guys enjoy it. Carry it on your own. God bless you. We'll see you next episode. Sorry for all the shakiness. Most fearsome of Goldens.